Hey, it's Lee with the Turquoise Valentine, and we're going to put together the Merry kit that comes from my shop. And you're going to need the things that come in the kit: the trees, the beads, the burlap, and the jute. And you're going to need some paint of your choice, and also a messy bow if that's what you choose to put at the top, and some makeup sponges or paint brushes. So you're going to take everything out of the bags and get everything out and get ready. And now each piece that you get from my shop comes with the masking tape on the piece of wood on the front side. It doesn't come on the back. It's only on the front. So you'll need to peel that off of each piece that comes in your set. You can use this masking as a template. If you want to cut out scrapbook paper, just place it on the scrapbook paper, stick it down, and then trace or cut around it, and you have a perfect template for your scrapbook paper. So I'm just going to peel off all the masking off all the pieces, including the letters. Every piece has the masking on the front. So I'm just going to peel off all of that. And then we're going to, if you might want to sand a little bit, sometimes the peeling up of the masking kind of peels up the fibers in the wood. So sometimes I just run a little sanding block over all the pieces and just kind of smooth it down so you get a real pretty finish. Even the letters, I just kind of scrub them, the fronts of them, on my little sanding block. And now we're going to get ready to paint everything. So I'm going to get some masking tape here, and I'm going to roll the ends under and stick it sticky side up, and I'm going to attach all the letters to the masking tape. That's just very easy for you to be able to paint these letters without them moving all over the place and holding them in your fingers and getting paint everywhere. So I just take a makeup sponge and I dab it in my white paint, and then I'm just kind of unloading some of that off the sponge and dabbing it over to the side. So then I just start dabbing and bouncing on top of all the letters, just kind of pounce up and down, and that should get paint all over the front of the letters. You may have to go do 2 coats, and I do here actually, because sometimes with the white it soaks into the wood and you need a second coat. So just tap, 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 tap. Be sure you get it all covered. Okay, and I'm going to set those to the side and let them dry. And also you can snip off your makeup sponge and use it for the next color. Just snip off the part where you used it. So now I'm going to set those to the side, and we're going to get our trees, and we're going to start painting them. And this is Fern Green from Folk Art. You can use whatever color you want. You can cover these with scrapbook paper if you would like. So then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to get right up under that star, and I'm going to kind of dab, and sometimes I kind of use it as a brush. But this is a very easy way to cover the surface of your wood quickly. So I'm just kind of dabbing, and I swipe some with it. And I'm not going to paint the trunk because we're going to go back and paint them brown. So I'm going to do all of the trees this way. And on this particular project, I'm not painting the back because we're going to glue it to the burlap. So you don't have to paint the back of the trees unless you just want to paint them. That's strictly up to you. So there's 5 trees, and I'm going to do all 5. This paint doesn't require a second coat on this color. Covers very well. But you paint your trees how you want to paint them. You could paint them, white, or you could paint them red and green. You could even put little Christmas ornaments, like dots on it, like Christmas ornaments on your trees. I'm going to do a snowy effect, and I'm going to show you how I do that here in just a second once I get all these trees painted. So get right up under that star and get real close to it, because we're going to paint the star gold here shortly. Just like that. Just take your time and have fun and enjoy the painting process. I love painting these wood pieces. It's just relaxing to me. So that's the last one. And we're going to let them dry. Or I'm going to dry them with my heat gun. Snip my sponge off again, and I'm going to continue to use it till I can't use anymore. Now we're going to do the trunks. I'm just using a little bit of burnt umber, and I'm just swiping it across the trunk there on all 5 trees. Easy peasy. Just a lot easier than a paintbrush, but you can use a paintbrush if you'd like to use one. This is just quick and easy. I'm going to snip the end of that off. Now I'm going to do the gold. And this is Folk Art Metallic, just gold, or you could use whatever color you wanted. I'm just going to dab those the same exact way. Just dabbing the stars, getting them covered with the gold. You could use silver, you could do it red. Whichever color you would like to do is fine. That matches your decor. Okay, now we're going to dry them just a little bit, and then we're going to do the snowy effect. And this is using a sponge as well. I'm going to put a little bit of white on my sponge, and then I'm going to unload it a little bit. And then I'm lightly just going to swipe the little sponge across there. I barely have any paint on my sponge, and I'm just using a very, very light touch. If you get it covered too much, it's not a big deal. Just let it dry, paint the tree green again, and then try it again. And you might want to practice, with this little technique on some paper, but you just use the slightest pressure, not very much, just to get that snowy, brushed snow look on the trees. Tones that green down a lot. There's my trees. So now we're going to glue the letters on, and I use super glue gel. I get it at Dollar Tree, and I just put a little bit, I put a little bit on the back, and I kind of use the tip of it to kind of smooth it out where it's not like a big glob of glue. That way it doesn't ooze out from under there, but it doesn't take much to glue these little letters on. And then just kind of press it down and then set it to the side, and within about a minute it's adhered and it's not coming off. Last one. Okay, so now we're going to take the burlap that comes in the kit. It's about 1 yard of burlap ribbon, and I'm going to get the beads out and the piece of jute that comes in there. And I'm going to feed all 10 beads onto the jute. And now we're just going to take the ends, and we're going to tie it up like a bracelet to make a ring. And I'm going to tie this about 3 times just to ensure that it doesn't come undone. Okay, so now you're going to take your burlap ribbon and you're going to loop it through there. And I've looped it and covered up the knot in the jute. And then I'm just going to hot glue that together like that. And I'm going to hold it up off the table because, I'm infamous for gluing things to the table. So I'm just going to hold it up, and then there's your top. That's where your hanger is. And so now I'm going to take my messy bow that I have made before I started the video. You can not use a bow. You don't have to. You can use whatever you want to use at the top. and get it in place, get it all fluffed, and then I'm going to hot glue that as well. I'm just kind of patting it on the back just to try to get that glue to adhere real good to the burlap. Okay, now we're going to start putting our trees down. So I'm going to put the first tree right under the bow, and right here I'm just kind of measuring it out to see how much room I have. And, you know, you might want to lay this across a big table and kind of space them out and see how much room you want to leave in between each one. So I'm going to start right here under the bow and put it right in the middle, and then I just run some hot glue right down the back, and then I just place it down, and then I lift it up off the table because I'll glue it to the table, and I'm just kind of pressing on the back. You know, be careful, don't burn yourself. And then I'm going to go about 1 inch down, and I'm going to just do the same thing. So I'm putting mine about 1 inch apart, maybe a little less than 1 inch, because you're going to have enough burlap. But if you want to space it out and lay them out to see your spacing before you glue them, you can do that. But since I have already done this project once, I already knew exactly how much space to leave in between each one of the trees. Because you're going to have more than enough burlap. Because we'll end up cutting some off here, right here at the end. So it goes pretty quickly. There's the last one. Just like that. And to finish it off, I'm going to pinch together the ribbon here in just a second and fold it together. And I'm going to dovetail my end. There it is. And I'm going to dovetail the end right here. So you pinch it together, fold it in half, and then cut upward, and it dovetails the end of your ribbon. Gonna fix that right there. And we're all done. That's how easy it is. Look how cute it is. You can hang it on your door, hang it, in your entryway, wherever you need to hang a little Mary sign. And if you purchase this kit, thank you for purchasing. I appreciate it. And I hope yours turns out really good. Thank you for watching.